So here we are at plot 25 and 26 at Easington allotment. My allotments that for the last 2 years I've been converting to no dig. We start off at the top by the compost heaps and the beans. On the left is Alan's chicken run. Coming round onto the path we have the runner beans at the front end, which are Firestorm. Then moving on after that to pea beans, which are Kathy's favourites, and the rest of the row will eventually be another load of runner beans. The truck I use for carrying watering cans, and then the garlic that has been put to dry off. The recently planted tomatoes, and then on the left the climbing French bean fasoled, and on the left hand bed the newer broad beans. As we go down here, you can see the fasoled have been in for a few days and seem to be taking okay, but I didn't get a very high germination rate due to my own errors. Tomato plants are growing against these metal spirals, which makes training them easily. No ties are needed. I'll show you a bit more on that later. Coming down past the onions, carrots on the left. In the middle behind are the peas. They're doing really well this year. Behind them a bit further down are the overwintered broad beans. And just round to the right are the courgettes and the squash. And here in front of the broad beans we have the parsnips, which are coming through but a bit patchy. Looking over to the right we go past the onions. Looking down amongst the onions you can see there is the odd weed, and I'll have to get that one out later. The rocket over the back has got to come out, and that bed will be the late greens. Coming up towards the middle where I keep the pavers, we've got the summer greens nearest us. Looking for the 360 view where we've just come from. On the left the late greens, onions, garlic. Coming over to the carrots and parsnips, and then the legumes, and swinging around onto the first bed, which is main crop potatoes and sweet corn, then the sweet corn and the new potatoes, and then the sweet corn you can see has only been in for a week or two but going quite well. The newer stuff has only been in for a couple of days, but you can see it has taken, it's not got any nasty yellow tinge. And going down this bed you can see over to the spring cabbages and cauliflowers, calabrese, and we're going past the new potatoes now. Coming up to ones that I'm using, which are rocket. You can see where I've pulled a few out. Coming up to the fruit area, the sparrows in front of us, raspberries to the left, strawberries there. Looking back up where we came from, seeing the greens, the potatoes, the main crop quite a bit later, but I want to be safe from the frost. The raspberries behind the asparagus, and then the strawberries, which the two rows nearest to us are cropping well at the moment. Just going up the side of the greens, that's where I've had cauliflowers, more cauliflowers there, calabrese that we're picking here. They've been really good. Got to wait and see whether these have side shoots or they come out. Some cabbages that are ready for making summer coleslaw. And the bed on the left is the autumn greens, which I still need to put some of the plants out after a couple of greenhouse failures. You can see that the strawberries, these are marshmallow, are in crop, and I do use wood chip between the paths of the soft fruit. Coming down past the raspberries on the left, currants on the right, then coming down on the tall frame towards the blackberries, which are nicely in flower. And then we have the apples and pears grown as angled cordons, which is a way of getting a lot of variety of fruit in a small area. have to wait till the end of June to see how much drops, and then these will need thinning out. Coming along to the end of the plot, round the corner of the fruit trees, just seeing across the general soft fruit area, right back up the plot to the top. And then we come round to the area where I've got the shed, the benches where we sit and have coffee, bits of staking and timber, and the three bin compost system. This is the bin we're using at the moment. The middle is for the turn in, and the end one needs turning